Nearly 14% of Canada's entire economy now depends on residential real estate. The nation the world sees as a utopia has quietly built itself into a mathematical trap, and the collapse has already begun. Canada's image abroad stands on pillars of abundance and social progress. Global rankings regularly place Canadian cities at the top for livability, safety, and quality of life. International students and skilled migrants flood application portals, drawn by the promise of universal healthcare, clean streets, and a stable middle class. The country's marketing is relentless, a land of opportunity, natural beauty, and open arms. For many, the maple leaf signals a destination where hard work guarantees security and upward mobility. But behind this polished exterior, the numbers tell a different story. The same surveys that fuel Canada's reputation rarely account for the daily arithmetic facing households. Aspirations of home ownership, once considered a birthright, are now out of reach for most young families. Expectations set by glossy brochures and government slogans collide with a reality shaped by stagnant wages, soaring rents, and a housing market that has become a global outlier. The utopian narrative persists, but its foundation rests on promises that no longer match the units built or the incomes earned. The gap between Canada's brand and its domestic reality is no longer a matter of perception. It is a measurable, widening divide. Canada's economy now leans more heavily on real estate and rental leasing than nearly any other advanced country. By the end of 2025, this sector accounted for 13.7% of GDP, almost double the OECD average. The expansion is not driven by new factories or tech exports, but by the rising value of homes and the relentless churn of property transactions. Imputed rent, the calculated value homeowners would pay to rent their own homes, has doubled since 2015, now fueling over 12% of annual GDP growth. At the same time, mortgage credit has grown at 9% per year, far outpacing household income gains. Corporate landlords and real estate investment trusts have seized the moment. The top 5 REITs, RioCan, Caprit, Allied Properties, Dream Unlimited, and Choice Properties, control nearly half of all institutionally managed rental units in the country. By 2026, Canadian REITs reached $37.7 billion Canadian dollars in market capitalization, raising $5.1 billion Canadian dollars in new capital in 2024 alone. Most of this money flows into high-end or market-rate rentals, with little trickling down to affordable housing. The Bank of Canada warns that the sector's dominance poses risks to financial stability, as mortgage debt and speculative investment push household leverage to record highs. Housing is no longer just shelter or savings, it is the engine of national growth, and the entire economy is now chained to its fortunes. Canada's population growth since 2015 has outpaced every other G7 nation, driven by a deliberate policy of high immigration. More than 2 million newcomers arrived over the past decade, averaging 300,000 per year. Nearly 70% settled along the Ontario, Quebec, and Alberta corridor, intensifying demand in the same urban centres already facing the sharpest housing shortages. The demographic profile is young, median age 32, fueling rapid household formation. Statistics Canada confirms that 68% of new immigrants form independent households within 3 years of arrival, a rate that produces immediate and concentrated demand for new units. In practical terms, this translates into hundreds of thousands of new households annually, in markets where new construction lags far behind. Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation planners have repeatedly underestimated this pace, with official forecasts failing to account for the compounding effect of both permanent and temporary migration streams. The arithmetic is stark. Demand for housing units is not a distant or abstract pressure, but an immediate and accelerating deficit that no current supply pipeline can absorb. Hospitals in Canada's largest cities now operate at over 90% capacity year-round, with winter surges pushing Vancouver's bed occupancy to 95%. Emergency room wait times regularly exceed 8 hours for non-critical cases, leaving patients in hallways or forced to seek care elsewhere. In Toronto and Calgary, the ratio of doctors to residents has fallen below 2 per thousand, intensifying the scramble for appointments and driving more people into overcrowded emergency rooms. Shelter systems are stretched to the breaking point. Toronto's emergency shelters run at 96% occupancy, with wait lists topping 12,000 people and average stays now exceeding 200 days. Vancouver's shelter network reports similar saturation, with more than 30% of clients cycling through multiple admissions each year. The visible overflow spills into tent encampments. Across Canada's major urban cores, more than 1,200 people live in makeshift tents, often within sight of high-rise condominiums. Municipal shelter managers warn that the system is no longer absorbing shocks, it is simply rationing scarcity. The arithmetic is inescapable as demand outpaces every available resource. The promise of universal access to care and shelter becomes a daily triage, not a guarantee. 15% of Canadian trained professionals have left for the United States since 2020. Salary surveys reveal the calculus. A Toronto software engineer earns 95,000 Canadian dollars, while the same role in Dallas pays 160,000 Canadian dollars. Yet Toronto's median home costs more than 11 times the average income, compared to just over 2 times in Dallas. These numbers are not isolated outliers, they are the arithmetic of a system in retreat. The professional outflow is no longer anecdotal but quantifiable, draining talent from sectors that once underpinned Canada's economic promise. The wage gap, combined with relentless housing inflation, has converted domestic strain into a historic exodus. Canada now stands as a warning to the world. When national branding and population targets outpace the realities of supply and productivity, the arithmetic catches up. A shrinking tax base, driven by the loss of skilled workers and secondary migration of newcomers, erodes the fiscal capacity needed to fix the crisis. The feedback loop is relentless. Each year of unaffordable housing and stagnant wages pushes more talent and tax revenue out, making recovery harder. For countries pursuing rapid growth without matching it to infrastructure and income, the Canadian example is no longer a model to follow. It is a cautionary tale about what happens when ideology ignores the numbers. Canada's housing equation no longer adds up. As population outpaces infrastructure and wages, the numbers leave no margin for illusion. The world's model nation stands as a stark warning. Mathematics always settles the account.